That's why you can't marry. All right. Thank you, Brian Sanchez. So happy birthday, America. Let's try that again. Welcome. Welcome to the 12:37 a.m. edition. Happy 4th of July edition of our show today. We're going to start off with a little patriotic music because it's on the old record player because it is the 4th of July. There it is. Accompanying me today, my buddy Sancho, named after Brian Sanchez. That's correct. Oh. Little skip on these old records, huh? Let's see. There we go. Picked up at Goodwill. I hear America singing the Hollywood Soundstage Chorus. Songs we have sung for the past 100 years, best known folk, spiritual, patriotic tunes, and ballads that are a picture and song of a nation moving forward. Sometimes I wonder, but like everything else, things come and go. They ebb and flow, good and bad, and so on. So there we go. I know you can hear me now, Sanchez. I know you can hear me now. All right. Dude, the volume was non-existent. Yeah, that's because the microphone was on mute, but it's on now. So all I did was just repeat what you didn't hear, which was Happy Birthday, America, or United States of America. So America's technically from Canada all the way down to South America, right? All the way down there to the tip of South America. So in addition, we are wearing our Starpod Trek pin because we've been doing some audio, some of the groups here. And this one happens to be very American. Got the Star Trek insignia, the American flag on it. Very, very cool. Very excited. All right. We'll wait till that finishes. And then we're going to show you guys some cool stuff since it's the 4th of July. I got all kinds of really cool patriotic style toys. Most of them came out around. There we go. Let me turn it down a little bit. Thank you. All right. Let's bring that down for a little bit. So most of them came out, the ones I'm going to show you, most of them came out around the bicentennial, which obviously is 1976. Hopefully everybody knows that if you're born in the U.S., because we were kind of ingrained in our head that as kids, but some of them are not so late. So let's get started on some of the very, very patriotic stuff. Just give me a moment and we'll get going here. All right. So let's actually, before we get too far, let's move that over there. All right. So I'm going to start off with you guys with some very, very basic, typically inexpensive style figures. These are called Heroes of the American Revolution. There was technically 9 of them, but there was a point in time when they only had 7. So they were 2 figures were added later. The back of the card was redesigned a little bit to shift some of these around. And these actually come in several flavors. You've probably seen them popping all over the place. This happens to be Nathan Hale. They kind of have this side card here. Tells when they were born, when they died, their little history, why they're important, and so on. So Nathan Hale, for example, born 1755, died 1776. Wow, 21 years old. Very, very sad. Anyway, so these are kind of squishy, they're a little doll-like. You've probably seen them around. They used to go for very, very cheap. They're available at Woolworths, your typical 5 and 10 or 5 and dime, if you will. I'm going to show you a different one. This is actually, if you take a look at the back of this card, you can actually see it's got the full 9 figures instead of just the 7. You guys can see that, I believe. There you go. It's a little tough with Sancho here. He takes a lot of room. This one happens to be John Paul Jones. Excellent figure. They're very, very doll-like. They have very little movements, basically arms and legs, and they have a very squishy rubber head. I mean, more squishy than your vintage Mego style figures. But they came with really cool outfits. I have to say, for the figures that, as cheap as they were, the outfits were really good. They put a lot of detail into them. I have some loose ones I'll show you in a minute. So this is Thomas Jefferson, for example. And again, you can see this is the 9 card. So, or the 9 stack on the back. So you can collect the series with the 7, which means obviously 2 figures weren't produced in those 7, and then you have the 9. Anything that's got 9 on the back is the later produced series. Here's George Washington. He's a great figure, father of our country. Thank you, George, for everything you gave and for everyone who gave to help put this country on the map. Daniel Boone. Now, he's a cool figure. I mean, all the sculpts are individual and they are unique, but he's, instead of giving him like a fur, like the rest of them have kind of a soft type outfit. So give him like a fur soft outfit. They chose to use this vinyl pleather with this kind of threads on it for I guess for fringe. So let me just tell you who was in there. So it was Benjamin Franklin, Daniel Boone, John Paul Jones, where are we? Paul Revere, Thomas Jefferson, the Marquis de Lafayette, George Washington, Patrick Henry, and Nathan Hale. On the 7-pack, just so you guys can see the difference, we had, again, Benjamin Franklin. We did not have Daniel Boone. He was added because back then, Paul Revere was in the top space. And if you take a look on the back of this card, it's actually Daniel Boone over here in the top space. I can't see this there. And Paul Revere was moved down. So Paul Revere and the Marquis de Lafayette are the two that were added later for the 7. So it's Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere. Did I say Paul Revere? I'm sorry. The Marquis de Lafayette and Daniel Boone were added later. Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere, John Paul Jones, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Patrick Henry, and Nathan Hale. And then again, they added Daniel Boone, and they added the Marquis de Lafayette later. The Marquis de Lafayette happens to be, besides being French, the Marquis de Lafayette happens to be quite hard to get. The rest of them you can see floating around. And this happens to be Benjamin Franklin. Came in the colors are very, very vivid. And they really, I got to give them some credit, man. They tried to, from what I could tell, they tried to make them look like the originals. This is Patrick Henry. Henry's got his big, long purple frock coat, if you will. And who else do we have in here? Just moving along. Paul Revere. Paul Revere. You know, interestingly enough, he is one of the few figures that did not come with a hat. A lot of them had a tri-corner hat or a very tall kind of hat that was periodic, that was to the period. But he did not have a hat. And we always see him with a tri-corner hat, right? Riding a horse. Obviously, you could get some extras. They float around. And this is the Marquis de Lafayette. And he is very, very, very illustrious in his gear. All right, let me give you a few loose ones. This is actually Paul Revere loose, just to give you an idea. A couple spare ones. They have these, they don't bend at the knees, they don't bend at the arms. They're basically kind of these blow mold doll hands and feet, very squishy heads. But the outfits are great. They kind of use like little brass buttons and so on. You could take a look at this guy right here. And the shoes, this kind of slipped on there as our shoes. Nothing too special about them. But they are very, very cool figures. This is the Marquis de Lafayette. He is out of the box. His box, this is the original one I got. His box was shot. He actually had kind of like a mold mildew on the back of to clean him. But let me show you what he's got in this. So here he is, getting squishy head. Got this hat. All right, you do that. I'm squishing your head. Okay, but check out his boots. Let me show you its coat rolled up. He's got that Mego, that Mego Batman AJ boot. Very, very cool. Even the top with the lips on there. So obviously there was some plastic stuff going on. There are some figures I forgot to bring. I'll bring them over in a minute. All right, what else do we have? Well, we got more stuff going on in America. What else do we got? We got all kinds of good stuff going on in here. This is a very late night video. That's what happens when you don't sleep. Okay. These are actually quite cool. I love these very much. I love them very much. Go over there. Thank you. Plastic lid. All right. The first one I'm going to show you guys, and you guys have probably seen them, is these are Fun World, the Collector's Save Great Americans, Uncle Sam. He comes with his Uncle Sam hat. Now, he's the only one that's not a real character. Obviously, Uncle Sam's a fictional made-up character, obviously. But these figures have to have a little stand that locks into their shoes, and you can actually stand them up pretty easily. The clothes have a tendency to get that kind of crispy change color stuff, and the heads are squishy, but the hats and so on, they have a tendency to get a little hard over time. Okay, here's this guy's a classic example. Here's the George Washington, which He's a great George Washington. Forgive the bubble. It's unpunched, but these things got the shit kicked out of them at some point. Again, Fun World. Somebody threw some tape on there. Nothing in here has any Mego to it. Matter of fact, the bodies on these guys are more like Azrak Hamway bodies, if you really want to know. And then, of course, which everyone's probably very familiar with, is this bubble's a little shot. I have much better examples in there. I think they're on the bottom. Yeah, much better examples. So here's a better Uncle Sam example. Should get a better look at them, and so on. This one's a little beat up, but I have a better example. Is the Abraham Lincoln figure, which everybody likes to put in their Star Trek collection to redo that Star Trek episode, which I can never remember what it's called. These were sold everywhere. They were sold at 5 and dimes. They're pretty much sold anywhere you could find them. Here is an actual George Washington. This is George Washington. Now the package now, his hat's in there somewhere, but his head, which used to be squishy, is kind of got a little hard. His clothes get a little crispy. They do bend at the elbow, the knees, just like Amigo. The boots are completely original. Nothing, even the clothes are completely original. This guy's seen some better days. They are not marked anything, but he's got a very good head sculpt, if you guys can check that out there. This one actually is the same George Washington doll, but he is wearing a coat from the 1776 people, which I don't have any of those anymore. There is a page up on My Migo Like I just posted the other day of the 1776 people, and you can actually see the actual figures themselves. Here's Abraham Lincoln. You can see he has his stand. He's already falling forward with his top hat. Honest Abe, great figure. Did a fantastic job. The sculpts on these are actually quite good, to be honest with you. And just to give you an idea, here's George Washington's hat. And it was rubber at some point, and it's just, over time, they just get hard. They don't, you'll see, like, it really won't stay on his head anymore. It's just like a very hard piece of plastic. All right, let's move these guys back in. I have multiple of these guys. I love these. You can find them, I found them in range anywhere from $20, $30, $40 up to like $175, $225. I don't know. They were knockoffs. They were sold at museums. They were sold during the bicentennial. They were sold all over the place, 5 and dimes. You could find them everywhere. Not so much today, although there are some on eBay. If you're looking for them, just search for Fun World. 1 or 2 words, depends who's listing it. But Fun World Uncle Sam usually gets to where you want to be. All right, now these are just made in Hong Kong knockoffs. Spirit of 76. And if anything radiates besides those Fun World figures, radiates the bicentennial or the 4th of July to these guys, because they took this very famous painting that you see up here, and they took each one of these 3 characters, they put them onto a card. They've got, this guy actually has a drum, he's got drumsticks, and one of them actually comes with a flute. He does not, because he's not the one that comes with the flute, but he's actually the one in the middle. Now, the bodies and the heads are very squishy, and I wouldn't be surprised to say that the guys that made the Heroes of the Revolution doll, either they used the same factory, the same company to produce them, or it was the same company to put them out, because they got the same squishy heads. They're pop-on heads. They have a plug. They just pop on. Very, very, very cheap plastic. Here's the guy that actually goes all the way on the left of the painting over here. And this guy actually has a flute in there. You can kind of see that brown thing right there. It's not a log. It's a flute. But he also comes with a drum and drumsticks, although in the painting he has no drum. There's another one right there. What the hell? Hello, Gilbert. How about Max? What's the what the hell? Sanchez. Oh, Tom Jefferson did have his way with a lot of ladies. And yes, that's true. Yes, it's very, very true. Are they blow mold or articulated? So these are so those figures I just showed you, Gilbert, these and these Heroes of the American Revolution, same bodies. So they have very, very, it's just arms and legs. They're pretty blow moldy, if you will. I mean, they're soft squeeze. The heads pop on and off. You can see the head will pops on with a plug right there. I think I can get it back on. Just kind of gone. It's kind of got a screw top on there to screw it back in there once it goes on. Okay. But they're not they don't bend at the elbow. They don't bend at the knees, but the outfits are fantastic. And these are, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, these are 8 inches. They are 8 inches. That's right. Somebody read their comic and subscribed to How to Get Taller. How to Get Taller. I think it was 25 cents. You could get taller. I have so many of these, and the other ones, it's insane. Okay, and here's the last one. And this guy, this gentleman here, is the one in the painting all the way on the right, or the left in here. But he's got a big old hat. He's got some fur, and he has his drum. And again, he's very, very, very. They did a good job. I mean, they're not exactly like the painting, but they're very, very close. I said I have a bunch of these. These are, I don't know how many of these I have. Quite a few. But I love these sets. They're just fantastic. They're getting very hard to find, inexpensively. They're pretty much basically super expensive. And the funny thing is, for these figures being from, the US for the bicentennial when they were pretty much put out, is I find a lot of them overseas in Italy. And the prices can be more affordable, but the shipping is almost as much as the figure. All right, I have some others I want to show you guys. I'll bring them over in a minute. Before I get to those, let's do another quick Uncle Sam, because should I just get them? No, I'll just do the quick Uncle Sam first because I have them here. So this is Be Natural Toys, and this was a Charlie E. Flat project. We talked about this a bit. I actually picked this up from Charlie at Mego Meet in 2019. He had a table. He said he had a whole bunch of them, a garage full, and is a very articulated Uncle Sam. If you know Charlie Flat, or you know anything about him, the guy is just spews talent. Very nice guy. Put these figures together. He even has a guitar. It's really funny. I noticed it has a guitar pick that says Be Natural Toys. I'm not sure why they put a guitar pick in there, but then again, so did New Mego. Who the hell knows? Not quite sure what the tie-in is. All right, let me go grab those other singer ones real quick. Brian Sanchez can run the 4th of July commercial. There we go. Oh yeah, more shit. How much crap can we put into one basement? All right, let's bring that back down. Here we go. All right. Cool banjo. This is some old ass record, Max, that I picked up at Goodwill. And I said, wow, perfect for the 4th of July. And I picked it up months ago. It's just got all like classical patriotic songs. All right. So before we get too started with this, there is a fine line between dolls and action figures. We know that. Or maybe not so fine. And we can argue all day that they're all dolls in the end. However, there are some that are more doll-like than others. Now, I picked up some of these because big into history, love American history, love European history too. I thought I'd give you guys a little look at some of these. These actually, believe it or not, were actually made in Paterson, New Jersey by Singer Crafts. I'd probably say they're more doll. I've showed these. I think I have to put this up on my Mego Like. I'll take a look. But these are actually, because it's 4th of July, whatever. They have stands for their feet. They're kind of blomo. They got the same thing, only arms and legs and heads, but they have rooted hair. And what I did notice about them is they have rooted hair, but some of the heads look like they may have actually borrowed or got heads from the place that did some of the Heroes of the American Revolution. All right, so these are called Our American Heritage Historic Costume Collection. They are American Heritage dolls are available in 3 collector series. First Ladies, Ethnic Americans, Famous Americans. Form a complete collection of American miniature dolls. So it says dolls, but it's by Singer Crafts in Paterson, New Jersey. Now, if you don't know where Paterson is, it's North Jersey. Paterson used to be, they used to call it they call it like the sewing capital of the world or something. Huge things were done in Paterson back in the day. This one is just labeled flag bearer, and he has a 76 flag. He's got an outfit. I'll show you what he looks like in person so you can actually see. He's about 7 inches tall, but he's a very felty outfit, pretty blow mold. Kind of looks like he's got some wicked rooted hair, and then there's even a stand to help hold him up. It's in the shape of a heart, so we're going to kind of go he's probably a doll. But listen, it's Americana. Don't give me shit. What can I tell you? All right, so that's flag bearer. But I did want to show you the other. Now, I don't have them all. I have some of them. They're a little hard to find, to be honest with you. This is another flag bearer. Okay, you can see the flags actually, it's not behind him, it's in front of him. But if you take a very close look, you'll notice a difference you probably didn't notice before. One's got the gray hair and one's got the white hair. That's right. Gray bee and white bee. That's right. Gray beard and white beard. There they are. Famous Americans. All right. This happens to be George Washington. And he's in this very illustrious red velvet outfit. It's actually quite funny. They have these little booklets in the back about the doll. And it just tells a little bit, if I remember, a little history about it, if you will. Yeah, but American Heritage. It's very kind of like doll collecting kind of shit. This happens to be Betsy Ross, and her stand is in front of her. Don't ask me why. You can see she has the flag in front of her. Yes, very dolly, if you will, but still, whatever. I'm not sure who this is. I was a history major, and I'm not sure who this is. I have to look up Priscilla Alden. I know she was essential. I think she was some kind of nurse, looks like. And then this is from the ethnic American ones. And this is pretty much a doll, but I figure if you're getting the collection, why not? This is Cherokee Indian. That is correct. What's Sanchez saying? Hold on. These Spirit 76 guys are showing up in the next Dr. Durant. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, these are they're very good figures. I like them. I've collected them for a long time. Not another history lesson. Yes, history lessons will abound. Migo Lake is not just about collecting dolls, Maximus. This is not just a place to have fun. This is a place to learn and expand your brain, to provide oodles of information to play on your next Trivial Pursuit game. Hello, have you been injured lighting off fireworks? Blow off a finger. Oh, this is your commercial. That's funny, Sanchez. I like that. That was a good commercial. That's probably your best one yet, to be honest with you. That's got to be your best one because the preparation age ones were good. All right, let's see. All right, so now we're going to go with something that's not quite so American Revolution, but I'm going to bring it up for a couple reasons. Why? Because there's a few things in this country that are very, very American. A few things that all Americans can kind of relate to. Hot dogs, beer, Chevrolet, and of course, Ford. And listen, I have to show this to you guys. I think this is from Jada. This is from Jada. It's not old, and it's not quite an action figure, but this is actually Jada's Avengers. Captain America. That's right. It's the 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen. Captain America and the 2006 Ford Mustang GT. Big Mustang fan here. I know Mr. Overnighter as well is a big Mustang fan. You can see it's a very Captain America type Mustang from 2006. It does include Captain America himself. I'm only showing that because it's the 4th of July and it's there. But while we're on it, we might as well show some of the rest. Very American, since you guys love Ford or Chevy, I'm assuming. Iron Man and the 2016 Chevy Camaro, which is a lovely set. The color scheme on it is fantastic. And although I'm not really a Camaro fan, old classic Camaros and old classic Corvettes I like a lot. Let's take the next one. This one's not even American, but fuck it. We're doing the Avengers thing. We're doing the cars. Black Panther and the Lycan Hypersport, which it's a really cool fucking super exotic. Very, very cool. You can see the Black Panthers in there. And then last but not least, he's been providing a seat for Sancho. Sancho, you're going to have to take a seat over there, my friend, is the Spider-Man and the 2017 Ford GT. If there's something I want to own before I die, if all else fails, it's a Ford GT. Love that fucking car. And it's done the Spider-Man colors, if you will. And these are Jada metals. Very, very nice. So we got two Fords, a Chevy, and a Lycan in there. Clearly somebody likes Ford over there. All right. The Jada stuff is pretty cool, Brian. I agree with you. It's actually pretty cool. Should we flip the record over, see what's on the other side? I'm not quite sure what's on it. Let's flip it. And got some dusty old fingerprints in there. You know, as cool as it is to have streaming music and all that shit, there's something cool about putting an old classic vinyl record on and so on. All right, so the Jada stuff's actually cool. They make a lot of cool metal stuff or metal and plastic. They do a lot of superhero stuff. I've seen them do Harry Potter. I've seen them do Dungeons and Dragons. I've seen them do Disney. Trying to think what else. They've done quite a bit of stuff in there, and they're actually quite cool. And I think this stuff is actually pretty neat. I haven't opened them. Probably would love to one day. They're very, very cool. The problem is once you open them, all the dust comes out, and these probably could use a little bit of dusting. Payment, half your collection to be more like it. Yeah. Sell your Mexican house, you may be able to put a down payment. The Universal Monsters, there's another one, the Universal Monsters. Yeah, there's a very cool Fast and Furious. There's another one. Actually, there's a very cool Jada Frankenstein. I think I showed before. Let me show it while we're here. I know it's 4th of July, but let me show it while we're doing these cars. Give me one sec. Sanchez, what's the next commercial? Right. Only because we're showing Jada. I'll show you guys this. I've showed this, I think, before, but and I think that Charlie has this as well. I'm pretty sure he does. And I don't know if they made more yet because this is the only one that I actually was able to find so far. But it is Jada, and it's the Frankenstein. And 1957 Chevy Suburban. It's got a little kind of poster card in the back. It's if you're a monster collector or you like Jada. As you can see, it's got Frankenstein. There's a card, but yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Sorry with the reflection. It's a laptop kind of mess. And there's like a card in the back. But the car actually has Frankenstein on the hood. Actually, it's probably a better way to show you. There you go, right there. There he is, the card. It's a nice little monster set. I hope they do more. Oh, this color thing on the front. I don't know if this is Universal and Universal is making them follow some kind of form, as we told by the guys at New Migo they have to. I'm not quite sure that's their thing. That's kind of I don't know. I don't really love that Frankenstein, to be honest with you. I would prefer a more Boris Karloff looking one. That one seems a little weak, if you will. All right. Let's see. You like that? You like the Frankenstein one? So the Universal Monster one's cool. It's at Walmart, or I picked it up from Walmart. You could probably pick it up elsewhere. Max took a Scooby-Doo, Knight Rider, very good. Fast and Furious. What else do we miss on those? Those are actually very, very good. My God, this is a late night one. It's a very late night one, isn't it? But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So happy birthday, America. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Before I forget, I almost forgot one of the reasons I want to do this. So we are almost at 600 people in Migo Like. And we've been doing it for about 2 years, I think. And although it's like, you're only 600, we don't advertise to anyone. We keep this room. It's kind of like, it's just by word of mouth and referral only. We don't sell anything. We're not promoting anything. We're just sharing. And that's like the best part about it is that we're sharing, all this cool stuff, our collections and all these different things in there. It doesn't even have to look like Amigo. It's just the name we kind of put in, and it just kind of evolved from there. So when we hit 600, we'll have a special surprise. I'll reveal what it is later after a long, hard day of doing manly things. You deserve a beer, but any beer you reach for Melograna says, "Hey, I am." Oh my God, Sanchez, that's too funny. Oh my God, that's too funny. Did they do a John Carpenter's Christine? Rich, that's a really good question. I think, why am I going to say, I want to say yes. I think that's a yes. I think Jada did do a Christine. Are you asking me because you really want to know, or are you, yeah, there we go. Okay, so Gilbert says they did. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that. I think, oh, you have it. Okay. Oh, you sent it too soon. That's okay, Sanchez. You have it. So you have the Christine. Okay. So they did do it. Yeah, I was going to say that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that's kind of that. So, anyways, we near 600. That's quite an accomplishment. We're not really we're not selling anything. We're just sharing, and we're getting a lot of people in. We got quite a growth in membership in the last week or so. I think we put in like 50 or 60 people, and there's rooms out there that have way more people. But that are been around longer, they provide to a different community or whatever. I just like the group we have. So just thanks to everyone, because it's really been a good quality room with really no issues. It's been very, very steady. It's been consistent. Hasn't been up and down as far as like craziness going on. It's pretty straightforward, consistent. I think that's really important, that you put something of quality together. So we didn't really know what it was going to be, or I guess when I first started, I knew what it was going to be, and just said, "Hey guys, let's go do this, and you guys can all be admins, take over." So yeah, it just was what it was, and we just kind of grew it from there. And I do love that it's growing every day. I love that it's growing, and I love that people are watching it grow. I love that people are joining and sharing. I think that's really, really important. And for those of you out there that are worried that Migo Lake is growing and there's some kind of army of anti-Migos, there's nothing further from the truth. There's a place to share. We have all kinds of Migos stuff going on. Actually, we do have quite a few Migos stuff going on. Sometimes it's discussing the things that we can't talk in the ambassadors group because you've either been kicked, banned, or they won't let you post in there because they delete it. So we could talk to them here, and you could talk freely. All right. Other than that, let's get the fuck out of here. It's a happy 4th of July. Hey, I bought a glow cap and a kid the other day. Do you have any of those? Do you have a glow? Yes, I have a couple glow cabin kids. Just a couple, just a few, just kind of a few, if you will. They are very cool, but they're cool. Probably some of the coolest figures out there. Anything that's glow in the dark, I think is quite cool. So anyway, let's go enjoy the 4th of July. Everybody be safe tomorrow. If you live in New Jersey, you can't get much more than sparklers and those snaps, so nothing really to worry about. Who's in the window? That's a good question. Who is in the window? Somebody's poking in. Did you check out the Toy Room of Solitude playset? Did you check it out? There's somebody actually poking into the window. We could go look over there one day. I'll do it with my phone, and we'll go see who's in the window on the Toy Room of Solitude. All right. But for those of you that can shoot off fireworks, please don't shoot off your hands. Please don't shoot at your neighbors, anything like that. I think when we were kids, we used to shoot those Roman candles at each other, which was, really not that intelligent. But shit you do when you're a kid, right? Who's peeking the window? Oh, hey, that's it. Yes, that's it. You're correct. It's Amigo. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for joining. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing up so late. This is supposed to be a recording that you guys could see tomorrow because I didn't think anybody would be coming in this late. Those of you did, thanks for joining. Thanks for your comments, and hope to see you all later. 600 is the goal. No, 600 is not the goal. 600 is this goal for me. I'll be watching it to see. We actually had like 2 more people join in a couple hours today, so we're down to 11. The countdown is 11 till we hit there. Yeah, that's all we get, Sanchez. We don't get much. Snakes and sparklers. It sucks. It's so stupid. It really is. Let's not get into that. All right. We're going to be done for the night. Thanks, guys. Peace. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.